So, Vijaya ma'am, could you tell us a little bit about your journey and how did Criblife come into existence?
I have always been a little bit of an entrepreneur, in the sense that I knew very early on in life that I didn't like taking orders from anyone. So I knew very soon that I didn't want to work for anyone. And the only way I could make a living is to manage my own business so that I don't have to listen to anyone. Every time I've worked with anyone, all I land is really, forever finding something wrong in what people are doing. I'm terrible like that. So very early on, I realized that, my best solution is really to be a business owner. So I don't have to listen to anyone and not having to constantly worry that, what they do doesn't agree with me. So after my master's in the UK, before that, I was just doing a lot of part-time jobs as a university student, as a college student. So after my degree, I came back to India, and it was a time when India was booming with the whole IT and ITES sector businesses. So very early on, as a young 23-year-old, straight out of university, and you're very brave when you're young, aren't you? Everything is possible. I think when you're older, you realize, damn it, it is life, it's not so easy. But as a young 23-year-old, you're so brave. You think everything is possible in the world. So there you go. So headlong, I jumped into it. And even in those days, I used to bring trainers from the US and the UK and run a training. So I started my own business called Excelling. And in those days, trainers were all Indian trainers. And my business was the only one who was actually bringing people from the West to train some of the top ITES companies then. So that is my journey. So as a young 23-year-old, I started it. Then after that, I realized, why am I training other people to do the same job I can do myself? Again, very brave, very, that is the beauty of being young. Then I decided, okay, if I'm training everyone how to make money, maybe I should start, running my own call center. And there you go. So I started my own little call center and employed about 150 people as a young 25-year-old woman in Delhi. In those days, and today, I mean, you do find a lot of young women doing a lot of interesting things. In those days, you didn't see a lot of women, especially young girls, run businesses. So, you get all the, you kind of deal with all the shit that goes with it. But I loved every minute of it. And then about 4 years after running the business, I met my husband, again, through work, got married, and I moved to the UK. After I moved to the UK, then I didn't do too much, to be fair. I think I felt like, I've worked so much, maybe I can put my feet up a bit. And I did fun things then, things that I enjoyed. So I started buying houses, renting it, renovating it, renting it, selling it, just as a part-time. It wasn't really a job. And then started helping my husband's telecom business. And about 5 years back, my father passed away. And I think it was just the time when my husband was also selling his business. And the timing just sounds right that, and my father had brought us up very, very ahead of our times. He's treated all the daughters as equal to the sons, same education, same opportunities, same respect. And I think the timing was just right. I felt, my father wanted me to be a leader, not just be a housewife. My husband was just selling his business, and we thought, when we saw a large gap in the Indian market, India's wealth was growing massively. Indians started wanting to spend the money that the wealth that accumulated, and I realized there was a big gap in the market to support Indian new money to make the best of their money. Everyone can spend, but it's just what do you do with the money? How do you spend it right? Where do you get the best returns? Both in terms of as simple as, you could buy a handbag, but it could be an investment handbag. You could buy art, it could be investment art, or you could just go and throw it and buy some, so I realized there was a big need, and India was internationalizing. There was so much wealth being generated. So I thought the time was right for a service like Criblife to help and support people in spending their money wisely. And there you go. And Criblife was born out of that that little belief that Indians need, Indians need a little bit of help in spending their money, and that's what we do now.
Amazing. So, with this dynamic journey that you've had from starting off as an entrepreneur and evolving as an entrepreneur, what are a few key traits that you think every entrepreneur should inculcate?
Well, I think the key is being shameless is key. Not taking no as an answer, and just being confident in what you believe. I think that's it. That's all it is. There, I don't think, and of course there are others, lots of, you need to have a business head. You have all of, but then we're all, and not in today's world, everyone's well educated. There. Skills that you got to know your numbers. You need to know that businesses have to make money. So that's key. But apart from that, I think that most people have. You go to school. You've got basic sense to know that you've got to what you earn has got to be more than what you spend.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But and apart from that, I think the key now is just put yourself out there. Meeting people is a social skill that could be in person, that could be in today's world more digital. You just got to be out there. Look at how social media is now influencing every decision we make in our life. So earlier you had to go and socialize, you had to go to meetings, you had to go to evening parties to go and network. The skill is the same, but it's just in a different platform. Now you don't have to go to meet. You could be out there in social media, open, how to use the right hashtag, what to tag, who to tag, and the key is to let more people know. I think the key to doing a successful business is the more people know about you. I mean, when I say more people, the right people. There's no point 100 people knowing about your service and none of them actually like or need your service, and there's no point. So the keys remain the same. You've got to have basic understanding of business. You've got to be shameless. You've got to learn to take no for an answer, and you've got to be real network. Whichever way, you got to let as many people, the right people, your right target. That could be both in terms of consumers. That could be both in terms of partners. And in today's world, it's partnerships and collaborations. Nothing can work without those two. So there you go. So that, to me, in my very humble opinion, I'm not saying that, I'm sure there is a lot more, but in my opinion, from my experience, I think that works well for me.
Amazing. So focusing a little bit on the networking part, you've emphasized so much in that. So how does someone who wants to get into your industry start networking from ground up? How has that gone for you?
Okay. In my industry, it really is a matter of not what you know. It really is who you know. Because a lot of things that we pull off is because of that personal relationship. It's a request. They do it because they like you. It's not always monetary. So like, for example, we had a client who wanted to go and attend the midnight mass in the Vatican 2 days before Christmas. I mean, it doesn't matter. You could be a billionaire. You're still not going to get a ticket because tickets for that event are by application only, and it closes 6 months before.
Right.
So the solutions to that is then try to use your personal connections. So with us, it literally, my industry, it is literally about who you know and the relationship that they have, that they will do something out of the box, something special, something they're not paid to do just because they like you. From the ground up is educate yourself. So the key to is educating yourself, knowing who, what, where, when. is the key. And then reaching out and opening up. And then, like I said, once you know the who, how, when, where, and if you have the right skills to then present that and ask those questions and make that connections. It's not easy to make connections randomly. But also, I think the world has changed now. You know, gone are the days when people were closed. People are a lot more open, especially the new generation. You know, people are so open. People have realized the power of connections. So it's the answer to your question really is go out there, introduce yourself, tell people about yourself. And it doesn't have to be, I want this, you know, it's just, I'm here and, you know, this is what I do. And it's just starting the conversation. It all comes down to being shameless.
Right. I think it's all connected eventually.
It is all connected. It all is connected. Yeah.
Absolutely. So coming back to Criblife and what you've been doing, what are a few key elements that you focus on when it comes to luxury lifestyle management for your clients?
Key areas. So when we started the business, we were very lifestyle, typical lifestyle. It was fancy hotels, it was private jets, it was Hermes handbags. It's where we started off. And that's what people wanted to know more, people want to think. But I think post-COVID, our industry has changed. For me, at least our work has changed significantly. So now with our key areas are wellness. I think people have realized if you don't have health, wealth, there is no wealth really. So for our members, wellness has become number one. Investments, the right investments. So people have started sweating the assets they have. So we've been helping them a lot. Examples, you know, families who had property investments around the world. And they never really needed any extra money. They just buy the property and leave it. Now suddenly they need more income because incomes have come down for everybody. It doesn't matter. It's only a very few select industries where incomes have increased. You know, 80% of industries income has reduced. It doesn't matter if you're top there or bottom there, incomes have reduced. So our key areas since COVID is literally been helping them with their business promotions. So from being very lifestyle focused on where to spend your money well, I think our key focus now is how do you also make money from the money that you had spent before and all the assets you have there, how do we now start making money out of it, has been our key area.
Amazing. I think that's a pretty good example of adapting, improvising, and eventually overcoming. So coming back to your industry, how do you think the landscape of luxury and lifestyle has evolved over the last couple of years? And how has that affected your business?
Luxury and lifestyle. The industry has... it comes down to, are we still spending on luxury and lifestyle? Yes, we are. The only question to that is I will have to move upstairs because I think my battery's kind of just gone. Really, it hasn't changed. The way, but how we spend now, it has definitely changed. The idea, the meaning of luxury has drastically changed, I would say, since COVID. Now, earlier, if going out and eating in the top restaurant was your idea of luxury, now having a vegan chef come and cook for you at home is luxury. So you're still eating, you're still having a fantastic experience, but suddenly our idea of luxury has changed. Earlier, going out and opening a bottle of your most expensive wine was luxury. So earlier, maybe you're going to Ibiza and partying day in and day out and opening big magnum bottles of champagne was luxury for you. Now, going up to the mountains, going hiking is your luxury. So we're all doing the things, but I think for us, for sure, amongst at least our members, our idea of luxury has changed to everything that is wellness, which is an investment, which is giving back to society, which is contributing to the to global warming. So it's all come back. So our idea has definitely changed, and it should change. If it hasn't changed, I'll be very, very upset. If the last 6-7 months haven't taught us that it's great that God's given you all the wealth, God's given you great health, God's given you this, and if you don't use it to the right capacity, I think we should all be very ashamed and upset about it. So yeah, I think the ideas have changed. So things that we took for granted are now important. So our idea of luxury and our idea of lifestyle have changed to living well now. It's not just splurging for the sake of thingy, but doing it, either it improves your health, it improves someone's life. And so if it doesn't do that, both in my books, it's not luxury really.
Amazing.
It's just senseless spending money. Yeah.
So do you think we're moving more towards an experiential economy instead of a very materialistic economy specifically when it comes to your industry?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, don't get me wrong. We still want a nice bottle of wine. We'll still want to carry a nice handbag. But everything that we do now, we will think twice about it. And we'll say, if I'm spending 7 lakhs on a handbag, am I doing it because it'll last me 50 years? And then I can hand it over to my daughter and she'll carry it with pride. So I think, yes, it's all about things that it's not disposable anymore. It's not things that you wear twice. Say that my friends have seen an Instagram, so I shouldn't wear it again.
Right. It's something you want to cherish forever. So now it's become more like
everything's got to be, and it's not because of just the money. I think you've got to have the sense to know that how many people, how much pollution have we put in the world manufacturing that little top that you don't want to wear twice has caused to the earth. And for me, it's very, very important for me to educate my members about it. I mean, don't get me wrong, they still want to wear nice clothes. They'll still want to do great parties. They'll still want, but you do that but also be always cognizant of the fact there are 50 other million people in the world who don't have half of what you do, but it get affected because of that little spend that you've just indulged in. So it just think about it. Yeah, I'm not saying give it up totally. You work very hard to earn your money. You should be able to spend it and live well. So I'm not saying don't stop spending, but we're just trying to say, learn to give back as well. When you're spending, yeah.
So do you think as a business that deals in luxury and lifestyle management, do you help your clients become more mindful of their wealth management and how they can do it better, probably in a more effective way?
Absolutely. That is what a service like ours is there for. So people pay a huge amount of fee a year to have our expert team to tell them where, how, when to spend. And not only spending is very easy. Anyone can make you spend the money. More importantly, I think for us, it's very important to also let them know how to make more money out of it. And if it's not money, at least it helps. At least they're thinking. So we're very, very as a team, and I think this is very important for any growing economy. It's not only India. Mm-hmm. It's money is new. It's like any child. When you have something new, you don't really know how to deal with it so well. You're just so excited. So so it's important to have someone, a team to help you spend it right, to spend it well. And that's what a service like ours comes into, tell them how to spend. But again, it's so when we go and tell our clients how to spend, where to spend, we're also very mindful of what the person and the family's ethos in life are. Okay, so if I know it's a family who's very sensitive to climate change, when we're very mindful of things that help support climate. But if we know a family doesn't give a monkeys about climate change, we try to kind of put it out, but our job is only to help and guide. You know, in the end of the day, it's the client's decision. But so through our constant communication, we try to kind of pass that as much as possible. But our job is to make life better. And then what life better is so unique to each individual, isn't it? So just because I think and my team thinks that's a fantastic idea, it's not necessarily the most fantastic idea for the client. So so it's important for us to understand what the client wants to achieve in life, what their idea of giving back is. We all give back. You know, we're human beings. You know, we can't always just take. We all know but it's just how we give back.
Right.
And where we give back is also very important to a lot of us. A lot of us wants to give back to things where it's women's education. Someone may have had a very, it may be a young woman entrepreneur has had a tough life as a woman entrepreneur, and then all they want to do is everything that they want to be involved in has got to have a women empowerment message to it. Then there are families that are very spiritual. Whatever they want in life, it has to have religious connotation to it. So it's always understanding what the client's values are. Mm-hmm. We don't go and tell them what the value should be. But once we know, and everyone has value, we all God-fearing, and generally we don't, and because our membership model anyway is by invite only.
Okay.
We've already vetted who that person is. And if we know they don't have a moral compass, we don't invite them to become members anyway. So we're very mindful of what the family and that individual's beliefs and values are, and then we make it from there, really.
Amazing. So my final question to you would be, what is one piece of advice you would give to someone who wants to get into an industry like yours and has a taste for luxury and finer things in life?
The one advice is really educate yourself. With a business like ours, when you're advising people, if you don't know what you're talking, people are smart. People nowadays, the world's in your fingertips. It takes 2 seconds for you to type something in Google to get an answer to every question you have. So for an industry like ours, it really is to educate yourself. To really research, educate yourself. That's the one advice.
Amazing.